Dela writes, my MVVs, welcome. Dela writes, so we got another report that, there is royal retribution, the forbidden temple of Oranfe Ebony sacred midnight visit to invoke evil upon Queen Naomi that ended her with a snake bite. Dela writes, is not a small thing, no. Yes, so this indeed is a chilling reminder that there are forces in the world no one should dare to provoke. This is what is happening to Ebony. She go green here. This one is coming straight from the palace of the Ooni of Ife, wrapped in mystery, soaked in jealousy and sealed by the divine hands of justice. This time, things are happening. You know that since they brought that ancient sword back to where it's supposed to be, it's not business as usual in the palace. You do anyhow, you get to see anyhow. We are getting a report that Ebony has, faced a terrifying consequence after a forbidden midnight visit to the ancient and dreaded temple of Oranfe, a spiritual journey that ended in a shocking snake bite and a palace scandal no one has ever thought would ever come. Before we dive into this, Ebony secret mission, let's talk about what led to it, okay? They said, if you have been following the trend, you know what is going on. Ever since Queen Naomi made her iconic return to the heart of the Ooni of Ife, grazing the Ooni's brand new Gulfstream G700 private jet, the same one no other wife had ever touched. The tension inside the palace walls could be sliced like a knife. Queen Naomi, elegant and composed, had been, quietly regaining the love and reverence of the Ooni of Ife. While she moved with grace, it is clear that the Ooni's eyes follows her every step. His heart has, been with Queen Naomi all along. Even with all the fights and everything, we do know that the Ooni of Ife loves that woman. But where is the light? Shadows grows darker. Where there is light, shadow grows darker, okay? Sources close to the palace began to whisper about, Ebony's increasing frustration. Once considered one of the most favored wives of the Ooni of Ife, had become a mere shadow in the palace. The love attention she once received seemed to have disappeared overnight. Her attempts to impress the Ooni of Ife, were met with indifference, and the other wives whispered about Queen Naomi's divine protection and favor. Desperate to reclaim her place, Ebony reportedly began consulting spiritual advisors, traditionalists, and even forbidden oracles. Nothing worked. That when she turned her attention to a name rarely mentioned in public, Oranfe. Oranfe is, something that they don't even talk about in the palace. Ever since the Ooni of Ife gave Queen Naomi that house in the UK. Some people, like I said, will say that Ooni dashed Queen Naomi the house, but others are saying it's still on his property. He just wants his wife to live under him, live in his own property. And, since they keep fighting Queen Naomi in the palace of the Ooni of Ife, the Ooni doesn't even want Queen Naomi there for now. Ooni said Queen Naomi should go and stay in London. Since that time, Ebony has been restless. Ikpe has been restless. Ikpe has been going left, right, and center. We will not even see someone like Ikpe. She's not in the palace. She's been moving from point A to point B. Her own. If she says she doesn't want this or she wants this, you don't give her. She disappears for like 1 week. She's going to places and places, and all the places they have entered, it doesn't work. It doesn't even hurt Olori Naomi. And they say Ebony has been so sad. Lately, she's had a lot. Her housemate, her maid exposed her. Her godmother exposed her. It's almost as if the entire world is fighting with her. This is a clear retribution that is happening to Ebony. Now, for those unfamiliar, the temple, I know that a lot of people are unfamiliar with this Oranfe temple, okay? It's not something people like to talk about, okay? Now, the temple of Oranfe is no ordinary shrine, located deep within the sacred grove of Ile-Ife. It is said to be the spiritual seat of Oranfe, the ancient Yoruba deity of fire, thunder, and divine Retribution, a powerful and unforgiving God. Oranfe is known for his swift justice and his intolerance for deceit and envy. His temple is considered so sacred that even traditional priests approached it with trembling reverence. It is strictly forbidden to enter with evil intentions. Those who do rarely make it out, unchanged, okay? But Ebony was blinded by jealousy, by desperation, by the need to strike down Queen Naomi in any way she could. According to palace sources, Ebony planned her journey in total secrecy. She left the palace under the cover of night, disguised in plain clothing and accompanied by a local spiritual guard who had been paid handsomely for the silence. In her hands, she carried a red wrap calabash, said to contain a ritual meant to transfer Queen Naomi's favor and spiritual covering to herself. Her goal to invoke Oranfe against Naomi to spiritually eliminate her from the palace equation. But what Ebony didn't know was that Oranfe does not play. As they approached the temple, the guard began to sense something was wrong. He later confessed his spirit became heavy the moment they reached the grove. The air was thick, the silence unnatural. Ebony, however, was determined. She lit a fire, placed the calabash before it and began chanting incantations she had no business altering. Then it happened. The wind shifted, the fire, flicked violently, then burst upward as if fueled by invisible hands. From the shadow of the grove, a terrifying hiss broke the silence. A massive python, one of the temple's sacred guardians, emerged from the bush, not in aggression, but as if sent. Ebony froze in terror. She turned to run, but stumbled backward. The snake stuck one precise bite, directly on her ankle. This is what we are hearing. And just as silently as it came, it slithered back into the darkness. Ebony screamed until she collapsed. The guard fled in fear, leaving her behind. She was later found by early morning worshippers, unconscious, foaming at the mouth, her ankle swollen and blackened. They carried her to a traditional healing center where word eventually reached the palace. This is what we are hearing, if the information is true. They said the Ooni of Ife was furious not just at the foolishness of the act, but at the disrespect shown to sacred Yoruba tradition. His word, though not made public, reportedly shook the palace walls. Ebony was placed under strict isolation and spiritual cleansing. No phones, no visitor. Only traditional healers were allowed near her. As usual, she remained calm. Of course, that they said this information got to Queen Naomi. As usual, she remained calm, dignified. Sources say she prayed for Ebony's healing, but has kept a spiritual distance ever since. Her focus remained on her, engagement, her son, her charity, her love for her husband. She does not want anybody to, take away her attention from, positive things. Meanwhile, Ebony is said to still be recovering, even though they say she has recovered better now, not just from the snake bite, but from the heavy spiritual consequences of her action. She reportedly had has nightmares, confusion and moments of silence that stretch for hours. Some palace staff believe she is still under Orinfa's judgment. Others believe she was lucky to have escaped alive. One thing is certain, the palace has changed since that night. No wife dare speak Queen Naomi's name in vain. The respect for her has only grown, while whispers of Ebony's spiritual punishment serves as a constant reminder you don't fight grace with darkness. Ooni of Ife has even told them that you cannot fight grace with darkness. Honestly, these women want to continue going after Olori Naomi in spite of anything, and they have told them that somebody will go before they realize who they are fighting. Queen Naomi is a child of grace. There's nothing you can do to shut Queen Naomi out. There's nothing you can do to quench her light. Queen Naomi is created to be a frontliner, or rather she was created to be a frontliner. No matter how much you try, you can never win when it comes to Queen Naomi, because the grace of God is with Queen Naomi. What do you think about what is going on in the palace of the Ooni of Ife? Dela writes, trust me, I'm going to bring you more update. But this is a reminder that no matter who you are, you have no right to fight a child that God has blessed, that destiny has chosen. That child is Queen Naomi. As you continue to fight her, you continue to endanger your life. Something bad would have happened to Ebony if God had not been with her. I'm going to bring you more update. Do not forget, these are all alleged, rumored, unverified information making the rounds on social media and should not be seen as fact.